Love the conversations, love the comments. Let's take a listen to this voicemail.
Hello, Benjamin. This is Adriana Langston, and I'm calling from Long Beach, California. And I want your thoughts on this. The Southern Poverty Law Association made its name back in the day suing a racist organization, suing its individual members for the death of a black man who got dragged to death by two of the members. The two members that did the dragging ended up going to jail. But the Southern Poverty Law Association did a civil suit against the organization as a whole, and it was a landmark suit of its time. The organization was found civilly liable for the hate it was mongering, and the individual members, their assets were gone after for the amount of the civil suit that went to the family of the deceased.
Okay.
I want your opinion on why that tactic fell out of fashion. We have all these online groups. Some of them are anonymous, but it would be easy to subpoena Facebook and find out who the administrator of that group is. Why did it go out of fashion to start to do the Southern Poverty Law Association legal remedy of suing these groups, individual members, in civil court for these deaths that were brought on by the hate that they're mongering? And I look forward to hearing your thoughts on that.
Wow. That's a very legalistic question. I see. Yeah. The first place I would start, I am not an attorney. But the first thing that's suspect to me is whether or not affiliations on Facebook can be considered equivalent to being a member, being a part of a membership group. I think that would be the very first thing. But let's just talk about it conceptually and almost philosophically, which is, that's my space. Conceptually, we should at a minimum hold these groups accountable in the public discourse, right? We've given too much space and too much quarter to groups. And when I say groups, I mean online communities. Too much space and too much quarter to online communities in the name of the First Amendment, which I completely support, but also without holding them accountable for what they do with the First Amendment, right? So with the First Amendment also comes a responsibility for what you have said. And what we've done is that we have rested this entire season of protest and dissent on whether or not these groups have the right to spew their hate speech. And instead of having that conversation, let them spew their hate speech, we need to start holding them accountable in the public square over what they say and over the people who are hurt by them. I think this is something that's very specific. We need to start calling them the hate groups that they are. They are hate organizations. They are terroristic organizations. They are Nazi organizations. They are there for the destruction of anyone who is not like them. This is the entire concept of white supremacy and white genocide. But we kind of soft pedal around the issue, and we give space to them for the sake of saying, oh, let's make sure that they have their right to say what they want to say. But then we end the conversation there without holding them accountable for what they said. And it's even worse than that. Not only do we not follow up and hold them accountable for the dangerous language that they use and they promote, nobody's saying that they can't say it, but we need to hold them accountable. Not only do we not hold them accountable, we give them powder puff pieces in the media. We put them on CNN. We put them in Vanity Fair. We put them on Mother Jones. We give them nice spreads and make them look like the dapper Nazis that they are. And so we are so far from holding them accountable. We're at the point where we promote them. So we can't even get back to the place where we hold people accountable for the hate speech that they spewed in groups that coalesce around this ideology. They coalesce around this radicalization, and then somebody in their group is actually dumber than the rest of them, and they go out there and act on the violent rhetoric that they pass around in meme form. We're not even to a point where we can correct that in the public square, let alone through legal action, because we're too busy questioning whether or not it's okay for Vanity Fair to do a spread on a Nazi. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the ledger, the idea of a radical black person remains DeRay McKesson. I'm not trying to slam DeRay, not today. But DeRay is no radical. DeRay is as milquetoast and moderate as they come, yet we've allowed the Overton window on the conversation of race to be between a Nazi, a literal fucking Nazi, and a neoliberal, moderate, corporatist dude who's just out there doing his thing, making his money. If you really wanted to compare apples to apples, you would need to put someone from the Hotep nationalist movement, someone from the black Israelites, from the black Hebrews, someone who is legitimately a black nationalist and legitimately a black supremacist. Not the old Panther Party, but someone from the new Panther Party. You would need to do a spread on them in Mother Jones and see how the nation reacts. That's the equivalent to the Richard Spencers and to the white nationalists of America. But we don't even have that. What we have is America exposing us to the very extremes, of white supremacy, and the limitation of the perception of blackness is DeRay McKesson. We'll see you next time.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog, join the Progressive Army, and support The Benjamin Dixon Show. It's Ben Dixon! If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Consider becoming a Patreon. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show.